Good afternoon. Today we are going to be reading through Chapter 10 of Dracula by Bram Stoker. But we're not just going to be reading the words, we're going to stop and talk about interesting vocabulary words or interesting expressions as we read through. And we're doing this live. So if you're watching this with me right now live, you can ask questions in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them. What does this mean? What does that mean? I don't understand. Explain it. That sort of thing. Also, recently, when we finish the chapter, we've been practicing with people who want to improve their pronunciation on Discord. So that's still on the video at the end. You can, if you're interested in practicing some of the vocabulary words that we talked about while we were reading the chapter, and you want to improve your pronunciation, we've been doing that for about an hour after each chapter, going really in depth with pronunciation. So if you're interested in pronunciation, make sure you stay. Don't go when the chapter is finished. Okay, I forgot to adjust my microphone volume, so I just wanted to make sure before we start. Let's see. Okay, that should sound better, louder. All right. Well, let's get started with Chapter 10. Letter, Dr. Seward to Honorable Arthur Homewood, 6th of September. My dear Art, my news today is not so good this morning. Had gone back a bit. There is, however... Oh wait, let me read that again. Off to a bad start. My news today is not so good. Lucy this morning had gone back a bit. This is a doctor, right? This is from Dr. Seward to Arthur Homewood. Okay, so this is a doctor checking on the condition of Lucy. And it's hard to really know what that means, but he says that she's gone back a bit, which I don't remember. Maybe she was improving in the previous chapter. She was getting better. But maybe now she's getting worse. I think that's probably what he means by gone back. But we'll see. Lucy this morning had gone back a bit. There is, however, one good thing which has arisen from it. Mrs. Westenra was naturally anxious concerning Lucy, and has consulted me professionally about her. I took advantage of the opportunity and told her that my old master, Van Helsing, the great specialist, was coming to stay with me, and then I would put her in his charge conjointly with myself. So now we can come and go without alarming her unduly. That word unduly, that kind of means like unnecessarily. So without... Because the mother's sick. She's dying, actually. And they don't want to upset the mother. And they don't really want the mother to know her daughter is sick. If she gets upset, maybe she'll die. And so they're worried about making the mother suspicious or causing her extra worry. So now he's saying we have a reason to go visit her, and the mother won't be unduly alarmed, unnecessarily alarmed or suspicious. So now we can come and go without alarming her unduly, for a shock to her would mean sudden death, and this, in Lucy's weak condition, might be disastrous for her. We are hedged in with difficulties. That's kind of an interesting phrasal verb, to be hedged in. Wait, let me just check something here. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm something before I opened up my big mouth. So I'm going to show you a picture because it's one of those words that people use it, but even if you're an advanced learner of English, it's possible you don't know what this would be called. We've got two things going on here. Well, actually, keep this picture in mind, okay? And then I'm going to show you another picture. You know, when you have bushes or trees that form like a barrier or a fence, see all of these? These are like bushes, but they're put together very closely, and this is called a hedge. So, and then you saw that hedge maze I showed you. But you can imagine, though, that to be hedged in means to be like trapped. You can't find your way out. That's why I showed you the hedge maze. This is really a hedge. It's like a wall of trees or a wall of bushes. And to be hedged in would mean to be surrounded or trapped or something like that. Let's read that again. We are hedged in with difficulties. All of us, my poor fellow, but please God, we shall come through them all right. If any need, I shall write, so that that's. Let me read that again. That's weird. Please God, we shall come through them all right. If any need, I shall write, so that if you do not hear from me, take it for granted that I'm simply waiting for news in haste. Okay, that's a pretty weird line. Yours ever, John Seward. Dr. Seward's Diary. 7th of September. The first thing Van Helsing said to me, when we met at Liverpool Street was, have you said anything to your young friend, to lover of her? No, I said. I waited till I'd seen you. As I had said in my telegram, I wrote him a letter simply telling him that you were coming, and Miss Westenra was not so well, and that I should let him know if need be. Right, my friend, he said, quite right. Better he not know as yet. Perhaps he will never know. I pray so. But if it be needed, then he shall know all. And my good friend John, let me caution you. You deal with madmen. All men are mad in some way or other, and inasmuch as you deal discreetly with your madmen, so deal with God's madmen too, the rest of the world. You tell not your madmen what you do, nor why you do it. You tell them not what you think. So you shall keep knowledge in its place, where it may rest, where it may gather its kind around it and breed. Who's talking? I think, this is the Dutch guy, and his English is weird, so it's hard to read and understand. Let's see. You deal with madmen. All men are mad in some way or other, and inasmuch as you deal discreetly with your madmen. And when something is discreet, it means that it's difficult to see. It's kind of hidden. Let's see. I'm not really happy with that definition. Let's ask ChatGPT to define it for us. Discreet. Distinct, separate from each other, independent, unconnected. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at a different word. There are two words. One word is discrete, C-R-E-T-E. That's the one I was using. That's wrong because it's really E-E-T. Two different words. Careful, cautious. Okay. And inasmuch as you deal discreetly with your madmen... Oh, Pachu's here. Hello, Pachu. How are you doing today? Actually, maybe we can make discreet one of our words today. And inasmuch as you deal discreetly with your madmen, so that means in a careful way, in a cautious way. What you do, nor why you do it. You tell not your madmen what you do, nor why you do it. You tell them not what you think. You shall keep knowledge in its place, where it may rest, where it may gather its kind around it and breed. And you and I shall keep as yet what we know here and here. He touched me on the heart and on the forehead. So you and I shall keep as yet what we know here and here. I have for myself thoughts at the present. Later I shall unfold to you. Why not now? I asked. It may do some good. We may arrive at some decision. And he looked at me and said, My friend John, when the corn is grown, even before it is ripened, while the milk of its mother earth is in him, and the sunshine has not yet begun to paint him with his gold, the husbandman he pull the ear and rub it between his rough hands and blow away the green chaff, and say to you, Look, he's good corn. He will make a good crop when the time comes. I did not see the application, and told him so. For reply, he reached over and took my ear in his hand and pulled it playfully, as he used to long ago do at lectures, and said, The good husbandmen tell you so then, because he knows, but not till then. But you do not find the good husbandman dig up his planted corn to see if he grow. Oh, this is annoying, the way that he talks. It's hard to understand. That is for the children who play at husbandry, and not for those who take it as of the work of their life. See you now, friend John? I have sown my corn, and nature has her work to do in making it sprout, if sprout at all. There's some promise. Well, from what I understand, and I really don't understand very well what he's talking about, he's just trying to say, I have some idea of what's wrong with Lucy, and I'll tell you later. And he's saying, no, tell me now. And he says, I can't. I'm not ready to tell you. It's not ready. My idea isn't ready yet. And he's giving a metaphor of, a farmer planting corn. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he's using that metaphor, but I think also that the person he's talking to also doesn't understand what he's saying, because he's saying, I don't understand. Explain it to me again. And this time is even more confusing. But I think the idea is, it's not ready yet. My idea isn't ready yet. He broke off, for he evidently saw that I understood, and then he went on gravely. Remember that word gravely, that means seriously. You were always a careful student, and your case book was ever more full than the rest, and I trust that a good habit has not failed. Remember, my friend, that knowledge is stronger than memory, and we should not trust the weaker. Even if you have not kept the good practice, let me tell you that this case of our dear miss is one that may be, mind, I say may be, of such interest to us and others that all the rest may not make him kick the beam, as your people say. Take then good note of it. Nothing is too small. I counsel you, Put down in record even your doubts and surmises. Hereafter it may be of interest to you to see how true you guess. We learn from failure, not from success. When I described Lucy's symptoms, the same as before, but definitely more marked. He looked very grave, but said nothing, and he took with him a bag in which were many instruments and drugs, the ghastly paraphernalia of our beneficial trade, as he once called in one of his lectures the equipment of a professor of the healing craft. When we were shown in, Mrs. Westenra met us. She was alarmed, but not nearly so much as I expected to find her. Nature, in one of her beneficent moods, had ordained... Oh, by the way, Pachu, remember how we talked about the word mal, meaning bad or evil? Well, when you see the word bene, that's a Latin word that means good. And that's why beneficent, her beneficent moods, one of her good moods, that bene means good, has ordained that even death has some antidote to its own terrors. Here, in a case where my shock may prove fatal, matters are so ordered that from some cause or other the things not personal or even terrible change in her daughter to whom she is so attached. Do not seem to reach her. It is something like the way Dame Nature gathers round a foreign body an envelope of some insensitive tissue which can protect from evil that which it would otherwise harm by contact. If this be an ordered selfishness, then we should pause before we condemn anyone for the vice of egoism. For there may be deeper root for its cause than we have any knowledge of. I used my knowledge of this phase of spiritual pathology and set down a rule that she should not be present with Lucy, or think of her illness more than was absolutely required, and she assented readily. That means she agreed, the mother, so readily that I saw again the hand of nature fighting for life. Van Helsing and I were shown up to Lucy's room. If I was shocked when I saw her yesterday, I was horrified when I saw her today. She was ghastly, chalkily pale. Pachu is asking about set down. I don't even remember. I don't remember saying that. Oh, and set down a rule. Oh, okay. Let's see. I used my knowledge of this phase of spiritual pathology and set down a rule that she should... here, set down just means... You know, it's funny. Sometimes, you know, when somebody in authority is in charge, somebody who has the power to make a rule, to make a law, it always... You could say, for example, lay down the law, but then, you know, to use that expression, lay down the law, you know, if you think about lay down, what that means, it's like putting it on the floor, putting it flat, or something like that. To lay down the law, that's when somebody in authority says, this is what you're doing, listen to me. And set down is kind of the same thing. This is a doctor examining a patient, and so that's a person in authority, and he's telling the mother, what did he say? I set down a rule that she should not be present with Lucy. So the doctor is telling the mother, you can't be with her when we're talking to her. So he's giving rules to her in her own house. And that's why he's using a word like set down. I'm the one in charge, and I'm telling you the rules. And Pachu's asking about show up. Was that that's a good phrasal verb, show up. But I don't remember reading that. Is that coming up? Wait, let me continue reading that paragraph. I used my knowledge of this phase of spiritual pathology and set down a rule that she should not be present with Lucy or think of her illness more than was absolutely required, and she assented readily. So I so readily that I saw again the hand of nature fighting for life. Van Helsing and I were shown up. Okay, well, the thing about phrasal verbs, show up is a phrasal verb, and the thing about phrasal verbs that's pretty confusing is that they can mean more than one thing usually. They usually have two or sometimes three or four different ways that you can use them. And a lot of times they're different, very, very different meanings. Sometimes a phrasal verb, and this is true with most phrasal verbs, they could have a very literal meaning. So that you could look at the two words show and up, and just based on those words you could understand what the phrasal verb means. And then they could also have very abstract meanings where you could never guess from the word show and up what the meaning is. And this is literal. This is very literal. We were shown up to Lucy. So show means, presented, right? And up, they went upstairs. They went up the stairs to her room. So that's it really means escorted. We were escorted to Lucy's room. Like maybe the mother didn't do it. Maybe she sent a servant, like a servant escorted them to the room. This is Lucy's room. Please enter. So that's what it means here. It's like escorted upstairs. But the more abstract way that you would use it, and probably more common, would mean to appear. Like, John showed up at the party. That means that he appeared at the party. Pachu's having trouble typing today. Escorted with an S, right. But I think maybe we'll make show up as one of our words that we would practice later today, because that's a pretty good phrasal verb to know. Pretty common one. All right, so we were shown up to her room, and let's see, Van Helsing and I were shown up to Lucy's room, and if I was shocked when I saw her yesterday, I was horrified when I saw her today. She was ghastly, chalkily pale. The red seemed to have gone even from her lips and gums, and the bones of her face stood out prominently. Her breathing was painful to see or hear. And Van Helsing's face grew set as marble, and his eyebrows converged till they almost touched, so his eyebrows came together. Till they almost touched. Over his nose, and Lucy lay motionless and did not seem to have the strength to speak. So for a while we were all silent, and then Van Helsing beckoned to me. So remember, beckoning, which we've seen many times, that means to call someone to you. And it doesn't have to be with words. If somebody is beckoning to you, it could be going like this with their hand. Right? Come over here. They don't have to say anything. It's just beckon just means order someone to come to you. And then Van Helsing beckoned to me, and we went gently out of the room. The instant we had closed the door, he stepped quickly along the passage to the next door, which was open. And then he pulled me quickly in with him and closed the door. "My God," he said, "this is dreadful. This is not time to be lost. There's not time to be lost. She'll die for sheer want of blood, to keep her heart's action as it should be. There must be a transfusion of blood at once. Is it you or me?" "I'm younger and stronger, Professor. It must be me." "Then get ready at once. I'll bring up my bag. I'm prepared." I went downstairs with him, and we were going there, and as we were going there, a knock at the hall door. Let me read that again. It's going to be one of those nights. I went downstairs with him, and as we were going, there was a knock at the door. When we reached the hall, the maid had just opened the door, and Arthur was stepping quickly in, and he rushed up to me, saying in an eager whisper, "Jack, I was so anxious. I read between the lines of your letter and have been in agony." Now, that's an expression, reading between the lines, and that means that you are, how do you explain that? It means that somebody didn't say something directly, but you understood what they really wanted you to know. Wait, I'm going to ask for some examples because I'm not doing a good job of explaining this. So what you have to think is, if somebody is writing a letter, here's one line, here's another line, here's another line. And let's see. I asked ChatGPT to help me. I said, give me 5 examples of read between the lines. Let's see. So here's an example. Statement. I guess your presentation was interesting. So here's reading between the lines. That's the statement. And the person might actually mean they didn't like the presentation. Oh, that, you know. Here's a good example. A lot of times in the past, maybe somebody would say, "Oh, you're single. Would you like to meet my niece because she's single also?" And then maybe the person would say, "Well, what does she look like? Is she pretty?" And then I say, "She has a wonderful personality." So you could read between the lines. That really means she's ugly. So it's when you say one thing, but people can understand something different. Let's see if we can. Here's a job rejection email. All right, so here's another example. While your qualifications are impressive, we've decided to move forward with another candidate at this time. Reading between the lines, they think you're overqualified or underqualified or not a good cultural fit, and they don't want to say it directly. Let's try another one, reading between the lines. In a social setting. I'm fine, don't worry about it. Spoken with a sigh. I'm fine, don't worry about it. Reading between the lines. The person isn't fine and may want to talk about their feelings, but doesn't know how to bring it up. All right, so reading between the lines is when you interpret something. You read one thing, but you interpret it in a different way. Maybe you mean you interpret the opposite. Pachu's asking about the word agony. I don't remember reading that word. Have we read that yet? Let's see. Well, here, let's reread this paragraph. Jack, I was so anxious. I read between the lines of your letter. So this guy received a letter, and it said one thing, but he interpreted it in a very different way. And have been in agony. Agony means pain. Have been in a lot of pain. Torture. Actually, it's like torture. The dad was better, so I ran down here to see for myself. Is not that gentleman Dr. Van Helsing? I'm so thankful to you, sir, for coming. When first the professor's eye had lit up, he had been angry at his interruption at such a time, but now, as he took in his stalwart proportions and took in, oh, here's a phrasal verb, took in. To take something in is to get the entire picture, to appreciate the entire picture, to observe the entire picture. So to take in, let's look up the word stalwart. Loyal, reliable, strong, sturdy. And so as he observed his strong, when they say proportions, that they're thinking about the body, the how big is his head compared to how big is his shoulders. So he has a strong body, a strong presence. As he took in his stalwart proportions and recognized the strong young manhood which seemed to emanate from him, that means like go out from him, his eyes gleamed without a pause, and he said, as he held out his hand, Sir, you have come in time. You are the lover of our dear miss. She is bad, very, very bad. Nay, my child, do not go like that. For he suddenly grew pale and sat down in a chair, almost fainting. You are to help her. You can do more than any that live, and your courage is your best help. What can I do? Asked Arthur hoarsely. We've practiced that word hoarsely. Hoarsely. What can I do? That means your voice is deep, extra deep, because you've been yelling or laughing or coughing. What can I do? You ever meet someone who's smoked a lot of cigarettes? How they talk? I smoke 4 packs a day. That's a hoarse voice. Tell me, and I shall do it. My life is hers, and I would give the last drop of blood in my body for her. The professor has a strongly humorous side, and I could, from old knowledge, detect a trace of its origin in his manner. In his answer, my young sir, I do not ask so much as that. Not the last. What shall I do? There was fire in his eyes, and his open nostrils quivered with intent. So this is your nose right here. This is your nose. These are your nostrils. This part right here. And quivering is like shaking. So let's see if I can make my nostrils quiver on camera. I'm flaring my nostrils. I don't know if you can see that, but quivering is little movements like this. Pachu is asking about the word emanate. That's like, it's like giving out. It's like, well, let's I'm going to ask ChatGPT. So, yeah, it's like something comes out from a source. So you can say light and heat and energy emanate from the sun. So the sun gives out light and heat. It's the source of light and heat. What was emanating here? He recognized the strong young manhood which seemed to emanate from him. So this is like he's a young man. He's very good looking. He has wonderful proportions. And you could just get this wonderful energy coming from him, emanating from him. and his eyes gleamed. Gleaming is the reflection of light. So his eyes were reflecting a lot of light. What shall I do? There was fire in his eyes, and his open nostrils quivered with intent. So quiver is just very small movements, very small shaking. Van Helsing slapped him on the shoulder. Come, he said. You are a man, and it is a man we want. You are better than me, better than my friend John. Arthur looked bewildered. Bewildered means very confused. And the professor went on by explaining in a kindly way, Young miss is bad, very bad. She wants blood, and blood she must have, or die. And my friend John and I consulted, and we were about to perform what we call a transfusion of blood, to transfer from full veins of one to the empty veins, which pine for him. John was to give his blood, and he is more young and strong than me. Here, Arthur took my hand and wrung it. Remember, wringing something is doing this. So he took the hand and he wrung it. Hard in silence. But now you are here. You are more good than us, old or young, who toil much in the world of thought. Our nerves are not so calm, and our blood so bright than yours. Pachi is asking about pine for. It's not a really common word, but it means to want something very badly. To need and want something very badly. Or very much. Arthur turned to him and said, If you only knew how gladly I would die for her, you would understand. And he stopped with a sort of choke in his voice. Good boy, said Van Helsing. In the not so far off, you will be happy that you have done all for her you love. Pachi is asking about turn to. Well, that just means that he directed his attention. So maybe the doctor was over here. Wait, who turned to who? Well, I don't know. There are three people. So maybe Arthur was looking at his friend, and then he turned to the doctor to ask him something. So it's literally just turning in the direction of someone. Good boy, said Van Helsing, in the not so far off. You will be very happy that you have done all for her you love. Come now and be silent. You shall kiss her once before it is done. But then you must go. You must leave at my sign. Say no word to madam. You know how it is with her. There must be no shock. Any knowledge of this would be one. Come. We all went up to Lucy's room. Arthur, by direction, remained outside. Lucy turned her head and looked at us, but said nothing. She was not asleep, but she was simply too weak to make the effort. Her eyes spoke to us. That was all. Van Helsing took some things from his bag and laid them on a little table out of sight. And then he mixed a narcotic, and coming over to the bed, said cheerily, Now, little miss, here is your medicine. Drink it off like a good child. See, I lift you so that to swallow is easy. Yes. She made the effort with success. It astonished me how long the drug took to act. This, in fact, marked the extent of her weakness. The time seemed endless until sleep began to flicker in her eyelids. Flickering is when, it's like very fast. 1 second there's light, and the next second no light. Actually, let's take a. I'm sure that we could find a GIF of flicker. It's better to look at a picture than me try to explain it to you. Oh, Mohammed is here. Hello, Mohammed. How are you doing today? Here's a. I would even imagine this is faster, but this is This is a light. Oh wait, what happened? That's a light flickering. That's. Do you know if you if when they first made movies, they used film. Everything's digital now. But if you ever watch the old movies with the film, they're called flicks because the way that the film and the movie operate is that there's a very bright light, and then one frame, the frames go very fast through the light, and that's how you see the movie. And so another word for movie is a flick, and it's a very common word for movies is a flick. Let's go see a flick. And it comes from that word flicker because they used to make the light go on and off as the film was playing. And that's why the company Netflix is called Netflix. It's flicks on the internet. And flicks means movies. Where was that word? I don't even remember why we were looking up the word flicker. The time seemed endless until she began to flicker her eyelids. So you can imagine flickering your eyelids would be like this. At last, however, the narcotic began to manifest its potency, and she fell into a deep sleep. When the professor was satisfied, he called around into the room and bade him strip off his coat. The word bid means to offer something, right? To make a bid is like to make an offer. And but how? Let's see. I'm just thinking. I mean, it means he's telling him take off your coat, but I just want to. Yeah, it means to. Oh, it could also be a command or an order. It does mean offer, but it could also mean a command or an order. So he's saying, "Hey, take off your coat." That's kind. I was just confused, thinking, well, in my head, bid means an offer, but here it seems like they're using it as a command, but it can be both. Take off your coat. He bade him take off his coat. When the professor was satisfied, he called Arthur into the room and bade him strip off his coat. To strip means to remove your clothes. So that's why he says strip off your coat. It means remove your coat. Then he added, "You may take one little kiss while I bring over the table. Friend John, help to me." So neither of us looked whilst he bent over. And Van Helsing, turning to me, said, "He's so young and strong, and of blood so pure, that we need not defibrinate it." I don't know what defibrinate means. Let's see. It's probably some medical term. Defibrinate. Remove the fibrin from the blood. It's a protein involved in blood clotting. Okay, it's removing some kind of thing from the blood. Fibrin, whatever that is. Then with swiftness, but with absolute method, Van Helsing performed the operation. As the transfusion went on, Something like life seemed to come back to poor Lucy's cheeks. And through Arthur's growing pallor, let's look up the word pallor. Unnatural paleness. So pale is when you have no color in your face. So you can see my face is very red. But if you just saw white, I would look sick and pale. And so pallor is like unnaturally white, like a ghost. And through Arthur's growing pallor, the joy of his face seemed absolutely to shine. After a bit, I began to grow anxious, for the loss of blood was telling on Arthur, strong man as he was. It gave me an idea of what a terrible strain Lucy's system must have undergone, and what weakened Arthur only partially restored her. But the professor's face was set, and he stood watch in hand. So he's got his watch. He's looking at his watch, keeping a record of how much time is passing while they're doing this blood transfusion. And with his eyes fixed, now on the patient and now on Arthur, I could hear my own heart beat. Presently, he said in a soft voice, "Do not stir an instant." And again, that means, stir here means don't move. It is enough. You attend him while I look to her. When all was over, I could see how much Arthur was weakened. I dressed the wound and took his arm to bring him away. So when you dress a wound, they punctured his skin so that the blood could come out. So to dress a wound means to put a bandage on it. I dressed the wound and took his arm to bring him away. And when Van Helsing spoke without turning round, the man seems to have eyes in the back of his head. That's an expression. Somebody who has eyes in the back of their head. That's somebody who, maybe you can do this. Or have you ever met someone who always knows what's happening around them, even if it's behind them? Do you have eyes in the back of your head? How did you know that? So that's why he's saying that. So Dr. Van Helsing is a very observant person. That's why he says he seems to have eyes in the back of his head. The brave lover, I think, deserve another kiss, which he shall have presently. And as he had now finished his operation, he adjusted the pillow to the patient's head. As he did so, the narrow black velvet band, which she seems always to wear round her throat, buckled with an old diamond buckle, which her lover had given her, was dragged a little up, and showed a red mark on her throat. Pachu's asking about turn around. Well, turning around, again, that's very literal. That's just, if you say turn, that could be like this, and that could be like this. But if you turn around, that's like 180 degrees. So that's why they're using around here. So Lucy's wearing something around her neck, a choker, and it slipped a little, and then they saw that there were some wounds on her neck. Uh-oh. It said a red mark on her throat. Arthur did not notice, but I could hear the deep hiss of indrawn breath, which is one of Van Helsing's ways of betraying emotion. Do you know a hiss? A hiss is like the sound of a snake. Or if you're familiar with cats, have you ever seen an angry cat or a cat who doesn't like you and they'll go That's a hiss. That's what a hiss is. So Van Helsing hissed. I don't know how he did it, but he made a sound like that. And he said nothing at the moment, but turned to me and saying, "Now, take down our brave young lover, give him of the port wine, and let him lie down a while. He must then go home and rest, sleep much and eat much, that he may be recruited of what he has so given to his love." Muhammad says, is there a synonym for buckle? I don't think so. Do you know what a buckle is? A buckle... I definitely cannot think of anything else. Let's see. I'll ask ChatGPT in a moment, but this is a buckle. It's a way of connecting two things. So you have a belt buckle, like a seat belt buckle, and you can even use it as a verb, buckle your seat belt. But these are buckles. So we can ask ChatGPT, but I would be surprised if there was a synonym for buckle. Why do you want a synonym for buckle? You don't like that word? Let's see. Not really. No, there really isn't. Well, you know, the woman is wearing, I think what she's wearing is a choker. Let me show you what a choker is. They didn't use that word, but the way that it's being described, it sounds like she's wearing something like this. So, and the buckle is like a diamond. It's something probably just like this picture, actually. Wait, what is... Whoops. See, but this is the buckling part in the back. That's the buckle. But I don't know. He must not stay here. Hold a moment. I may take it, sir, that you are anxious of result? Then bring it with you, that in all ways the operation is successful. You have saved her life this time, and you can go home and rest easy in mind that all that can be is. Well, Muhammad is saying, I've seen that word in a different context, but I can't remember. Buckle? No, I can't think of how else you use buckle. You can use it like a verb, which means like to connect two things, or you can use it like a noun, and then it is something that you connect. Belt buckle, seat belt buckle. But besides that, I'm not sure. I shall tell her all when she is well. She shall love you none the less for what you have done. Goodbye. When Arthur had gone, I went back to the room. Lucy was sleeping gently, but her breathing was stronger. I could see the counterpane move as her breast heaved. You know, heaving is pulling. When you heave something, you pull it. But he's talking the breast. This is the breast area. On both men and women, this is the breast area here. And when he says that I could see the chest heave, that means he could see it go like this. You know, if you're breathing, your chest maybe will move up and down, and that's heaving. But that's good because that means she's breathing stronger. By the bedside sat Van Helsing, looking at her intently. The velvet band again covered the red mark. I asked the professor in a whisper, "What do you make of that mark on her throat?" "What do you make of it?" "I have not examined it yet," I answered, and then and there proceeded to loose the band. Just over the external jugular vein. And there were 2 punctures. Punctures are like holes. Holes made because something went like that. And that made a hole. That's a puncture. Not large, but not wholesome looking. Wholesome means like healthy or nice. So they were not big, but they didn't look good. There was something about them that looked bad. There was no sign of disease, but the edges were white and worn-looking, as if by some trituration. I don't know what a trituration is. Let's see. Trituration. The act of grinding or crushing into fine particles. There was no sign of disease, but the edges were white and worn-looking, as if by some trituration. It at once occurred to me that this wound, or whatever it was, might be the means of that manifest loss of blood. But I abandoned the idea as soon as it formed, for such a thing could not be. The whole bed would have been drenched. When something is drenched, I think we'll put that as one of the vocabulary words today. When something is drenched, it's completely wet, 100% wet. So he was thinking maybe that's how Lucy lost all of this. Or is it Lucy we're talking about now? Yeah, it's Lucy. Maybe that's how Lucy lost all of this blood, was from the 2 wounds on her neck. And then he was saying, no, that's not possible, because if that were the case, the bed would be drenched in blood. It would be the bed would be completely wet with blood. But I abandoned the idea as soon as it formed, for such a thing could not be. The whole bed would have been drenched to a scarlet with the blood, which the scarlet is a type of red. It's the color red. With the blood which the girl must have lost to leave such a pallor as she had before the transfusion. "Well," said Van Helsing. "Well," said I can make nothing of it." The professor stood up. "I must go back to Amsterdam tonight," he said. "There are books and things there which I want, and you must remain here all night, and you must not let your sight pass from her." "Shall I have a nurse?" I asked. "We are the best nurses, you and I. You keep watch all night. See that she is well fed, and that nothing disturbs her. You must not sleep all the night. Later we can sleep, you and I. I shall be back as soon as possible, and then we may begin." "May begin?" I said. "What on earth do you mean?" "We shall see," he answered. As he hurried out, he came back a moment later, and put his head inside the door, and said with a warning finger held up, "Remember, she is your charge. If you leave her, and harm befall, you shall not sleep easy hereafter." Hereafter means like from this moment on, or from that moment on. Dr. Seward's diary continued. 8th of September. I sat up all night with Lucy. The opiate worked itself off towards dusk. Dusk is the period when the sun is falling, when the sun is going down. That's called dusk. You could say sunset, but you can also say dusk. It's the same thing. And she waked naturally. She looked a different being from what she had been before the operation. Her spirits even were good, and she was full of a happy vivacity. So that word viva is a Latin word which means life. So she had happy vivacity, means she was full of liveliness, of life, of movement, a happy energy, a happy life energy. But I could see evidences of the absolute prostration which she had undergone, and when I told Mrs. Westenra that Dr. Van Helsing had directed that I should sit up with her, she almost pooh-poohed the idea. To pooh-pooh something is to say, ugh. It means to not take it seriously. So what was the suggestion? When I told Mrs. Westenra that Dr. Van Helsing had directed that I should sit up with her, she almost pooh-poohed the idea. So the mother, the doctor is saying, Professor Van Helsing said I have to watch your daughter all night. But the daughter looked so good, she looked so fine. The mother said, "Oh, that's stupid. Of course not. You don't have to do that." To poo-poo something, that's very that's really slang. That's really kind of a slang thing, to poo-poo something. But it means to dismiss it. Oh, that's not important. Give me a break. That doesn't mean anything. You don't have to do that. She almost pooh-poohed the idea, pointing out her daughter's renewed strength and excellent spirits. I was firm, however, and made preparations for my long vigil. A vigil is like a careful watch. When her maid had prepared her for the night, I came in, having in the meantime had supper, and took a seat by the bedside, and she did not in any way make objection, but looked at me gratefully whenever I caught her eye. After a long spell she seemed sinking off to sleep, but with an effort seemed to pull herself together and shook it off. It was apparent that she did not want to sleep, so I tackled the subject at once. And tackle means like attack. I attacked the subject. I went directly to the subject at once. You do not want to sleep? No. I'm afraid. Afraid? To go to sleep? Why so? It is the boon we all crave for. A boon is like a gift. Not if you were like me. If sleep was to you a presage of horror. A presage of horror? What on earth do you mean? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. And that is what's so terrible. All this weakness comes to me in sleep until I dread the very thought. But my dear girl, you may sleep tonight. I'm here watching you, and I can promise you that nothing will happen. Oh, I can trust you, she said. I seized the opportunity. Pachu is saying a presage of horror. Well, let's see. I just want to take a look at the word. You know, when I see the word sage, I think of a wise person, a very, very wise person. And ChatGPT agrees with me. But now let's look at presage. Warning, like a warning in advance, a sign. So if she says that sleep is a presage of horror, that's like a fancy way of saying that whenever I go to sleep, something horrible happens. But it's not something that you would ever have to you would ever want to use in your daily conversation. I promise that if I see any evidence of bad dreams, I will wake you at once. You will? Oh, will you really? How good you are to me. Then I will sleep. And almost at the word, she gave a deep sigh of relief, like, whew, that's a sigh of relief. A sigh is, but a sigh of relief is, whew, and sank back asleep. All night long I watched by her, and she never stirred, so that means she never moved. Stirring means move. But slept on and on. So, we were talking about the word on yesterday, meaning continue, continue. And again, here we have sleep on. Yesterday we talked about run on and go on and come on or carry on. And all of these things could mean continue in a way. Continue running, run on. And here she slept on and on. She slept and she continued to sleep and she continued to sleep and she continued to sleep. She slept on and on. In a deep, tranquil, life-giving, health-giving sleep. Her lips were slightly parted, and her breast rose and fell with regularity of a pendulum. There was a smile on her face, and it was evident that no bad dreams had come to disturb her peace of mind. In the early morning her maid came, and I left her in her care, and took myself back home, for I was anxious about many things. I sent a short wire to Van Helsing and to Arthur, telling them of the excellent result of the operation. My own work, with its manifold arrears. Manifold means many different, it means many different folds, but it means like maybe many different, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to, I know what the word is, but it's hard to explain, so let's just ask for some help here. Well, it's really just a fancy way of saying many, okay? But many different parts. Maybe that's a good way of explaining it. Many different parts. And arrears means things that you are late with. So, this doctor, he's very busy. He runs a mental institution, a mental hospital, a hospital for crazy people. But he's been giving all of his attention to Lucy. So he's very behind in his work. And that's why he says manifold arrears. Many, many different things I'm behind in. Took me all day to clear off. It was dark when I was able to inquire about my zoophagous patient. The report was good. He had been quite quiet. Isn't that funny? Remember yesterday we were talking about the word quite, which means very, and quiet, which means calm. Remember? Quiet. And here we have both of those words together. Quite quiet. For the past day and night. A telegram came from Van Helsing at Amsterdam whilst I was at dinner, suggesting that I should be at Hillingham tonight, as it might be well to be at hand, and stating that he was leaving by the night mail and would join me early in the morning. September 9th. I was pretty tired and worn out. We've seen that phrasal verb several times, worn out. That means very, very tired. It's a very common phrasal verb and an adjective that means very, very tired. I was pretty tired and worn out when I got to Hillingham. For 2 nights, I had hardly a wink of sleep. Wink is when you do this. That's a wink. But a wink of sleep means not even a second of sleep. Nothing. So, did you sleep well last night? No, I didn't sleep a wink. That means I never slept, not even just for a second. For 2 nights I had hardly a wink of sleep, and my brain was beginning to feel that numbness which marks cerebral exhaustion. So numbness means you can't feel anything. And when you see that cerebra, that has to do with the brain. That means the brain. So cerebral exhaustion means your brain is very tired. He's been working really hard, and he hasn't been sleeping, and now his brain is very tired. Lucy was up and in cheerful spirits, and when she shook hands with me, she looked sharply in my face and said, "No sitting up tonight for you. You're worn out, and I'm quite well again. Indeed, I am. And if there's any sitting up, it is I who will sit up with you." I would not argue the point, but went and had my supper, and Lucy came with me, and enlivened by her charming presence, I made an excellent meal, and had a couple of glasses of the more than excellent port. Then Lucy took me upstairs, and showed me a room next to her own, where a cozy fire was burning. Cozy means warm and comfortable. "Now," she said, "you must stay here. I shall leave this door open, and my door too. You can lie on the sofa, for I know that nothing would induce any of you doctors to go to bed whilst there's a patient above the horizon. If I want anything, I shall call out, and you can come to me at once." I could not but acquiesce, for I was dog-tired. I could not have sat up had I tried. So, on her renewing her promise to call me if she would want anything, I lay on the sofa and forget all about everything. Lucy Westenra's Diary, 9th of September. I feel so happy tonight. I've been so miserably weak that to be able to think and move about is like feeling sunshine after a long spell of east wind out of a steel sky. Somehow Arthur feels very, very close to me. I seem to feel his presence warm about me. I suppose it is that sickness and weakness are selfish things, and turn our inner eyes and sympathy on ourselves, whilst health and strength give love rein. And in thought and feeling he can wander where he wills. Pachu says, quiet. That's right, you have to put that E in the middle. Quiet. I know where my thoughts are. If only Arthur knew. My dear, dear, your ears must tingle as you sleep, as mine do waking. Oh, the blissful rest of last night! How I slept, with that dear good Dr. Seward watching me, and tonight I shall not fare to sleep, since he is close at hand and within call. Thank everybody for being so good to me. Thank God. Good night, Arthur. Dr. Seward's Diary, 10th of September. I was conscious of the professor's hand on my head, and started awake all in a second. So here we have that word start again, which it does not mean beginning. It does not mean begin. It means, huh? To start is to get a surprise and go. So, if you're sleeping and somebody does something to you, you say, what? That's what happened. I started awake. That's what that means here. This is one of the things that we learn in an asylum at any rate. And how is our patient? Well, when I left her, or rather when she left me, I answered, "Come, let us see." And together we went into the room. The blind was down, and I went over to raise it gently, whilst Van Helsing stepped with his soft, cat-like tread over the bed. As I raised the blind, and the morning sunlight flooded the room, I heard the professor's low hiss of inspiration. And knowing its rarity, a deadly fear shot through my heart. As I passed he moved back, and his exclamation of horror, Gott in Himmel, needed no enforcement from his agonized face. He raised his hand and pointed to the bed, and his iron face was drawn as ashen white. I felt my knees begin to tremble. There, on the bed, seemingly in a swoon. A swoon is like a movement like this. And they use this a lot in this book to mean somebody is losing their consciousness and they fall down. Seemingly in a swoon lay poor Lucy, more horribly white and wan-looking than ever. Even the lips were white, and the gums seemed to have shrunken back from the teeth, as we sometimes see in a corpse. A corpse is a dead body after a prolonged illness. Pachu's asking about the word seemingly. Well, the verb to seem means this is how it looks, but I'm not sure if it's exact. And this is no different. When you say seemingly, it just means it looks like... Where was it? Let's go back. Seemingly in a swoon. So, they open the windows. The room is dark, and then they open the windows, and then they're surprised to see Lucy on the bed. But she's not laying like she was sleeping. It seems like she was standing up and then she fell on the bed in a swoon. That's what the swoon part means. So it says seemingly in a swoon. Like it's like saying, I don't know what happened, but I guess she was standing up and fell down onto the bed. Van Helsing raised his foot to stamp in anger, but the instinct of his life and all the long years of habit stood to him, and he put it down again softly. Quick, he said, bring the brandy. I flew to the dining room and returned with the decanter. A decanter is like a bottle. It's a kind of bottle. He wetted the poor white lips with it, and together we rubbed palm and wrist and heart, and he felt her heart. And after a few moments of agonizing suspense, said, It is not too late. It beats, though feebly. Feeble means very weak. All our work is undone. We must begin again. There is no young Arthur here now. I have to call on you yourself this time, friend John. As he spoke, he was dipping into his bag and producing the instruments of transfusion. I had taken off my coat and rolled up my shirt sleeve. There was no possibility of an opiate just at present, and no need of one, and so without a moment's delay, we began the operation. After a time, it did not seem a short time either, for the draining away of one's blood, no matter how willingly it be given, is a terrible feeling. Van Helsing held up a warning finger. Do not stir. So remember, that means don't move, he said. But I fear that with such growing strength, she may awake. And that would make danger. Oh, so much danger. But I shall precaution take. I shall give hypodermic injection of morphia. He proceeded then, swiftly and deftly, to carry out his intent. I want to define that word deft. Deftly. Swiftly means quick, but deftly with skill and precision, with ease and grace. The effect on Lucy was not bad. For the faint seemed to merge subtly into the narcotic sleep. It was with a feeling of personal pride that I could see a faint tinge of color steal back into the pallid cheeks and lips. No man knows, till he experiences it, what it is to feel his own life blood drawn away into the veins of the woman he loves. The professor watched me critically. That will do, he said. Already? I remonstrated. You took a great deal more from art, to which he smiled, a sad sort of smile, and replied, He is her lover, her fiancé. You have work, much work to do for her and for others, and the present will suffice. When he stopped the operation, he attended to Lucy whilst I applied digital pressure to my own incision. That might be confusing, to see that word digital and think, why digital? Your fingers can be referred to as digits. So when he says I applied digital pressure, that means I applied pressure with my fingers. Pachi is asking about suffice. Well, I'm sure that you know the word sufficient, right? That's a pretty common word, sufficient. That means enough. And that is just the verb form of sufficient, to suffice. That will suffice. The blood you gave will suffice. That means it's sufficient. It's enough. We don't need any more. Whilst I applied digital pressure to my own incision, I laid down while I waited his leisure to attend me. For I felt faint and a little sick. By and by he bound up my wound and sent me downstairs to get a glass of wine for myself. As I was leaving the room, he came back after me and half whispered, Mind, nothing must be said of this. If our young lover should turn up unexpected, as before, no word to him. It would at once frighten him, and jealous him, too. There must be none so. When I came back, he looked at me carefully and then said, You're not much the worse. Go into the room and lie on your sofa and rest a while, and then have much breakfast and come here to me. Pachi is asking about turn up. I don't remember reading that word. Let's see. Oh. Turn up. Again, that's funny because that it's just like show up, and that it means to appear unexpectedly, by surprise. So he says, Mind, nothing must be said of this. If your young lover should appear, turn up, unexpected. So he's saying, don't, if her fiancé comes for some reason, unannounced, unexpected, if he appears, if he turns up, don't tell him what happened today. I followed out his orders, for I knew how right and wise they were, and I had done my part, and now my next duty was to keep up my strength. I felt very weak, and in the weakness lost something of the amazement at what had occurred. I fell asleep on the sofa, wondering over and over again how Lucy had made such a retrograde movement, and how she could have been drained of so much blood, with no sign anywhere to show for it. I think I must have continued my wonder in my dreams, for sleeping and waking, my thoughts always came back to the little punctures in her throat, with the ragged, exhausted appearance of their edges, tiny though they were. Lucy slept well into the day, and when she woke, she was fairly well and strong, though not nearly so much as not nearly so much so as the day before. When Van Helsing had seen her, he went out for a walk. leaving me in charge with strict injunctions that I was not to leave her for a moment. I could hear his voice in the hall, asking the way to the nearest telegraph office. Lucy chatted with me freely, and seemed quite unconscious that anything had happened. I tried to keep her amused and interested, and when her mother came up to see her, she did not seem to notice any change whatever, but said to me gratefully, "We owe you so much, Dr. Seward, for all you've done, but you really must now take care not to overwork yourself. You're looking pale yourself. You want a wife to nurse and look after you a bit. That you do." As she spoke, Lucy turned crimson. So, we've talked about that word crimson before. That's the color of blood. It's red. It's the color red, but the color of blood. So Lucy was embarrassed. She turned red. Her face turned red. Lucy turned crimson, though it was only momentarily, for her poor wasted veins could not stand for long an unwanted drain to the head. The reaction came in excessive pallor, and she turned imploring eyes on me. So to implore means to beg. So imploring eyes are eyes that are begging, eyes that are asking for something. I smiled and nodded and laid my finger on my lips. So he did this. That means I won't say anything. Or you don't say anything. I'm not sure what's going on here. With a sigh, she sank back amid her pillows. Van Helsing returned in a couple of hours and presently said to me, "Now, you go home and eat much and drink enough. Make yourself strong. I stay here tonight, and I shall set up with little miss myself. You and I must watch the case, and we must have none other to know. I have grave reasons. No, do not ask me. Think what you will. Do not fear to think even the most improbable. Even the most not improbable. Good night." In the hall, two of the maids came to me and asked if they or either of them might not sit up with Miss Lucy. To sit up with someone means to... there's a phrasal verb which is to stay up. And when you use that phrasal verb to talk about not sleeping when you normally sleep. "Oh, I'm so tired." "Why are you tired?" "I stayed up until 2 a.m. Okay, because you use that phrasal verb "stay up," that means I don't normally stay awake until 2 a.m. Normally I go to bed at 9 or 10 or something like that, but I stayed up until 2. So that word "up" means not going to sleep here. And so to sit up with someone, maybe you would do that if somebody was very sick. So that person sleeps, but you sit and you don't sleep. That "up" means not sleeping. So you would sit up with a sick child, maybe. So the child is sleeping and you're just sitting there reading a book or watching TV, but you don't sleep. So the servants wanted to sit up with Lucy, meaning they wanted to sit there and watch her and not sleep. In the hall, two of the maids came to me and asked if they or either of them might not sit up with Miss Lucy. They implored me to let them. That means they begged me, "Please let me do it." And when I said it was Dr. Van Helsing's wish that either he or I should sit up, they asked me quite piteously to intercede with the foreign gentlemen. I was much touched by their kindness. Perhaps it's because I'm weak at present, and perhaps it's because it was on Lucy's account that their devotion was manifested. For over and over again have I seen similar instances of women's kindness. I go back here in time for a late dinner. Went my rounds as well. We've talked about that before, making rounds. And making rounds is like making a scheduled visit. So, imagine if you're like a security guard somewhere, if you're like the police, probably you have a route that you follow. So at 1 o'clock you're here, and then you walk, and 1:30 you're here, and then at 2 a.m. you're here. So making your rounds is visiting each place where you have to visit in your job. He's a doctor. He's the director of a mental institution. So a doctor making their rounds would be a doctor going from one patient to another patient in the hospital. So first the doctor visits the patient in this room, and then and it's regular. It's every day he does the same routine of making these visits. So that's making rounds. So I went my rounds. That means I visited all of my patients in their rooms, all well, and set this down whilst waiting for sleep. It's coming. 11th of September. This afternoon, I went over to Hillingham. Found Van Helsing in excellent spirits, and Lucy much better. Shortly after I arrived, a big parcel from abroad came for the professor. He opened it with much impressment, assumed of course, and showed a great bundle of white flowers. A bundle is when you take a lot of things and you put them together, like a collection. So a bundle of flowers, it would be like a big group of flowers together. These are for you, Miss Lucy, he said. For me? Oh, Dr. Van Helsing. Yes, my dear, but not for you to play with. These are medicines. Here, Lucy made a very wry face. Nay, but they are not to take in a decoction or in a nauseous form, so you need not snub that so charming nose. To snub your nose is to put your nose up. Like, I don't want it. So he's saying, don't worry, you don't have to eat it or drink it. It won't make you sick. We're not going to make you eat these or drink them, because usually that would taste pretty bad. So there's no need to snub your nose, to turn up your nose. I don't want it. Or I shall point out to my friend Arthur that woes he may have to endure in seeing so much beauty that he so loves, so much distort. Aha, my pretty miss, that brings the so nice nose all straight again. This is medicinal, but you do not know how. So he's saying these flowers are medicine, but you're not going to drink it or eat it. You don't know how it's going to be medicine, but it is. I put them here in your window. I put him in your window. I make pretty wreath and hang him round your neck. So you sleep well. Oh yes, they, like the lotus flower, make your trouble forgotten. I smell so like the waters of Lethe, or of that fountain of youth that the conquistadores sought in the Floridas, and find him all too late. Whilst he was speaking, Pachu's asking about the word endure. Well, since you're curious about roots, that word dure means hard or difficult. And to endure something means to pass through something difficult. So, if you say, I cannot endure the pain, that means I cannot survive this pain. It's too much. I can't handle it. I can't manage it. It's too hard. How do they use endure here? I don't remember seeing that word. Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. But imagine if you're taking medicine. Medicine usually tastes very horrible. So, I'm sorry, but you will have to endure taking this medicine. And I'm using this verb. It means you're going to, or it's not a verb. It's it is a verb, to endure. It is a verb here. That means it's going to be difficult, but you have to do it. You're not going to like it, but you're going to have to do it. So that word dur means hard or difficult, and endure means passing through something hard or difficult. But I don't see it. I'm not sure where it went. Okay. While he was speaking, Lucy had been examining the flowers and smelling them. Now she threw them down, saying with half laughter, half disgust, "Oh, Professor, I believe you're only putting up a joke on me. Why, these flowers are only common garlic." To my surprise, Van Helsing rose up and said, in all sternness, that means very serious, his iron jaw set, and his bushy eyebrows meeting, "No trifling with me. I never jest. And jesting means joking. I never joke. There is grim purpose in what I do, and I warn you that you do not want to thwart me. Take care, for the sake of others, if not your own." Then, seeing poor Lucy scared, as she might well be, he went on more gently, "Oh, little miss, my dear, do not fear me. I only do for your good. But there's much virtue to you in those so common flowers. See, I place them myself in your room. I make myself a wreath." I'm just going to show you a picture of a wreath in case you don't know what that is, since I keep using that word. It's not really the most important word, but this is a wreath. So a wreath is like a decoration that you make with flowers. You kind of form them into a circle, and then you can hang it somewhere. It's like a decoration. Pachu's asking about the word thwart. I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to define that, because I mean it's not a terribly common word, but it's one that people use sometimes. That means like to contradict or to fight or to, let's see, I just to prevent, to oppose successfully. Yeah, maybe that's the best way to think of it, to oppose successfully. So they thwarted the robber. That means that they stopped the robber from robbing successfully. Team A was winning, but then Team B thwarted them. You could do that if you wanted to, I suppose. So it means to have a successful challenge. Something like that. So he says, "Do not thwart me. Do not try to challenge me. Do not try to win over me." "See, I place them myself in your room. I make myself the wreath that you are to wear. But hush! No telling others that make so inquisitive questions. We must obey, and silence is part of obedience. And obedience is to bring you strong and well into the loving arms that wait for you. Now sit a while. Come with me, friend John, and you shall help me deck the room with garlic." So to deck the room means like decorate the room with garlic. "Which is all the way from Haarlem, where my friend Vanderpool raised the herb in his glass houses all the year. I had to telegraph yesterday, or they would not have been here." Pachu's asking about the word inquisitive. Well, you have that root quiz, right? What's a quiz? Quiz. That's like when you take a test, right? The test will ask you questions, and you must answer the questions. And that key, that QUI, that could be like what or who or why. It's like a questioning root in Latin languages. And so to be inquisitive means to make a lot of questions. Pachu says key is like test. It's not like test. It's like it's like a root word for making questions. It's for it means asking questions. Could be, well, in In Latin languages, if you want to say who, that's like in Spanish it's quien, or in French it's qui, and and in Spanish what is que, and in French it's also que. So it's just like it's like in English you have what, when, where. All the question words start with wh, but in Latin all of the question words start with qu. So it's yeah, quiz. Pachu says quiz. Yeah, that's comes from the same word. So a quiz is a list of questions to test your knowledge. Even the word question has that ke root in it. We went into the room, taking the flowers with us. Muhammad says it also means curious. Yeah, well, to be inquisitive means to ask. To be curious means to ask a lot of questions, and to be inquisitive also means to ask a lot of questions. So yes, it's all related. We went into the room, taking the flowers with us. The professor's actions were certainly odd, and not to be found in any pharmacopoeia that I've ever heard of. I don't know what a pharmacopoeia is. Pharma, that's about medicine, and copia, I guess, is like copy, like books. So maybe books about medicine, but I don't really know. First, he fastened up the windows and latched them securely. Next, taking a handful of flowers, he rubbed them all over the sashes, as though to ensure that every whiff of air that might get in would be laden. Laden means full, laden with garlic smell. And then the wisp he rubbed all over the jamb of the door, above, below, and on each side, and round the fireplace in the same way. It all seemed grotesque. Grotesque is a word which means disgusting. It all seemed so grotesque to me, and presently I said, "Well, Professor, I know you always have a reason for what you do, but this one certainly puzzles me." And puzzle is confused, to be confused. So Muhammad says pharmacopoeia is the science of pharmacy. Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see. Are you telling me? Did you look it up? Pharmacopoeia. It wouldn't be something that you would say in contemporary English. Official publication of drug standards. Yeah, so I mean, you have the word copy. So the same word copy, which would imply that it's like a book or something, and pharma, which means medicine, and that's what it is. It is well we have no skeptic here, or he would say that you were working some spell to keep out an evil spirit. It's funny because we were talking about the word spell the other day, and I was telling you, well, spell could mean using letters to make words. Cat, C-A-T. How do you spell cat? C-A-T. But spell can also mean a period of time. Uh, I slept for a spell. That just means I slept for some time. Or he stayed a spell. That means he stayed for some time. Or I was sick for a spell. I was sick for some time. But also another. So this is funny because spell can be used many different ways. Spell can also mean when like a witch makes a says. Wait, let's see if I can find magic spell. See if I can find a picture, because like if a witch or a magician reads from a book to make something happen. So imagine you read the magic words in the book. I'm going to win the lottery. And then you read the magic words to to make the magic happen. That's called a magic spell. That's a spell also. And that's what... Let's go back and read this again. Because the person working with him, I'm forgetting people's names, but the doctor working with Van Helsing is, he's saying, I trust you. I know that you know a lot of things, but it's like you're doing some kind of magic spell. See, it's well we have no skeptic here, or he would say that you were working some spell to keep out an evil spirit. Yes, Pachi says that spell is a period of time. That's true, but it also means to perform an act of magic. So that's how they're using it here. Like, this doesn't seem like science. This seems like you're doing some kind of secret magic to keep away evil spirits. A magic spell. Perhaps I am, he answered quietly as he began to make a wreath which Lucy was to wear around her neck. We then waited whilst Lucy made her toilet for the night. So I know that you know the word toilet to mean the place where you go to the bathroom, but really the word toilet means to take care of yourself. So when it says that Lucy made her toilet, that doesn't mean that she was going to the bathroom. That means that she was maybe washing her face, fixing her hair. That's what that means. We then waited whilst Lucy made her toilet for the night, and when she was in bed, he came and himself fixed the wreath of garlic round her neck. The last words he said to her were, "Take care you do not disturb it, and even if the room feel close, do not open the window or door." "I promise," said Lucy, "and thank you both 1,000 times for all your kindness to me. Oh, and what have I done to be blessed with such friends?" As we left the house, in my fly, which was waiting... What? As we left the house in my fly, which was waiting... I have no idea what that means. That must be some kind of misprint. That sounds weird. As we left the house in my fly. That doesn't make any sense. Which was waiting. Van Helsing said, "Tonight I can sleep in peace, and sleep I want. 2 nights of travel, much reading in the day between, and much anxiety on the day to follow, and a night to sit up without to wink." So again, winking is that's a wink. But what he means by this, without a wink, means without any sleep, without even not even a second of sleep, not even of sleep. That's pretty common to use wink to mean, especially if you say not a wink, that means absolutely no sleep. "Tomorrow in the morning early you call for me, and we come together to see our pretty miss, so much more strong for my spell, which I have to work. Ho ho." So he's joking that he's saying, now that I did my magic, my spell, we can get some sleep. He seems so confident that I, remembering my own confidence 2 nights before, and with the baneful result, felt awe and vague terror. It must have been my weakness that made me hesitate to tell it to my friend. But I felt it all the more, like unshed tears. Okay, well that was the end of chapter 10. So anybody want to practice? Pachu, Muhammad, would you like to do some speaking practice, some pronunciation practice now? If so, you can put yes in the chat. And I'm just going to take a 1-minute break, and when I get back, if you've answered yes, then we will continue on. So don't go away if you want to practice pronunciation. We're going to practice live on Discord now, but we'll still have the video running here on YouTube, so you can practice along with us. Okay, I will as soon as I find the window to switch. Okay. All right, so I will be back in 1 minute, and when I return, we will start pronunciation practice for about an hour. Okay, I'm back. And let me turn off the music here. Okay. Oh, no. I've got to open up Discord. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Okay, I think that I'm in the chat. Pachu, can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Hello. Mohammed, are you
Yeah,
here also? I don't see Mohammed. Let's see.
I joined now.
Okay, great. Now Pachu says, "Oh, can we do phrasal verbs today?" We can do that. Let's see how this will work out. All right, I'm just asking ChatGPT to give me some examples, so I don't have to think of any. How about, let's see. I want to find some interesting ones. How about find out? Do you know that one? Do you know the phrasal verb find out? Have you seen that one before? That's a pretty common one, actually.
To search for.
No, no. Find out means to discover, like to discover the answer to something. Well, let's see how. Yeah, to discover or learn something. Find out. Have you seen that phrasal verb before, Pachu?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir. Yes. I use it.
Do you? Give me an
Yes.
example. How would you use that one?
So I generally, when I send email to my boss
Hmm.
and I write, please find out this document. Just
How are you using it in that example? Find out this document. What does that mean?
uh, so when I use it, please find out this uh, analysis of finished products.
Oh,
Uh, yes.
okay. All right. Can you see? Oh, wait. I can't even see what I've got. I've got to change to this one. Okay. So I'm just writing that. So we're putting find out here, and then I have an example here. I don't know if you can. Can you see the example on the screen yet? Does it show to you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Mohammed, can you read the sentence? What does it say?
I need to find out what time the train leaves.
Okay. Now, if I say the first three, what does that mean? Can you say that in a different way? What does find out mean here? What word could you use? What verb could you use instead of find out?
I need to know the exact time when the train leaves.
Yeah, but it's kind of like discover. I need to discover what time the train leaves. Or I need to find the answer to the question, what time the train leaves. Does that make sense? Is that pretty clear?
Yes,
Okay. Now, if I say those three words, the first three words, I need to, I need to, I need to. What do you think
I
about the
need
vowel?
to.
I need to. What do you think about the vowel sounds in those three words? Are they big, long vowel sounds or short vowel sounds?
Need long vowel sound
Okay.
to small vowel sound.
Yeah, but notice that if you say the word to when it's alone, it's long. To. But But in this phrase, it's very short. So we have short, long, short. I need to. Can you say those three words together?
I need to.
Uh huh. Pachu, can you say that?
So I need to.
I need to. Now it's okay. You can say I need to if you want. That's fine. But
Yeah.
probably in the middle of a phrase, in the middle of a sentence, it would be short. I need to. I need to like that.
Yeah.
Can you try it like
I need to.
I need to.
I need to.
I need to.
I
Okay.
need to.
Mohammed, what are the next two words in that sentence?
Find out.
Okay. What do you think about those two vowel sounds in there? Are they big vowel sounds or little vowel sounds? Find out.
Uh, Find long vowel
How about out?
out, out short.
Well, I think that, normally out would be pretty big. Out. It's actually two sounds. Ow. 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 Those are the two sounds. Ow. So it's not ow, but ow. Can you say the two words?
Find out.
Hmm. Do you know what happens if you have uh, two long vowel sounds together like that? The first one is usually longer, so you'd make find bigger than out. Find out. Find out.
Find find out.
And that keeps our rhythm too, because we have small, big, small, big, small. I need to find out. Can you say all those words?
I need to find out.
I need to find
I
out.
need I need to find out.
Hmm. Try to do that rhythm of small, big, small, big, small. I need to find out.
I need to find out.
Mm-hmm. Can you try to make out a little bit smaller?
I need to find out.
Find out. And actually, I think, and we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? That actually the word out will take the sound of the D from find, and it would be find out. Find out. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Oh, I don't know if maybe Mohammed disappeared. Pachu, can you say find out?
Okay, sir. Find out.
Okay, but you can make out shorter. Find out.
Find out.
Mhm. Can you say I need to find out?
I need to find out.
Hmm. So you've got that rhythm. Okay. All right. Pachi, what are the next? Mohammed, did you disappear?
No, I
Oh,
still
oh.
here.
Okay. I thought you disappeared. All right. Okay. So I need to find out.
Uh,
Hmm. Go ahead.
Yesterday you were in the same time live because I was here yesterday, but I found you live.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Yesterday, did you went live at the same time? Because I waited you yesterday and that
Oh.
No,
time.
Oh no
no,
no.
sir
I'm
did not
sorry. Yesterday I was not
no.
able to do any videos. I'm sorry. No.
I thought you was live yesterday in different time.
No. It was I we did Wednesday, but yesterday I couldn't. I had something to do, and
Okay, no,
yeah, so I wasn't able to do that yesterday. Mohammed, can you say the phrase "I need to find out"?
I need to find out
Okay. What are the next two words?
what time.
What time? What time? What do you think about the vowel sounds in there?
What is a short vowel? Uh, Time, I think long vowel.
Okay. I'm going to say what two different ways. You tell me which one sounds better. What? 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 Which one do you like?
Uh, I think is a second one.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you could probably say that word what in a short way. What time is it? Yeah, you can do that. What time is it? Especially, so I need to find out what time. No, I guess we could make it small here, especially because we have all these long. So let's make what short and time long. What time? What time? Can you say that? What time?
What time?
What time? Pachu, can you say that? What
Oh,
time? What time? Hello? Pachu? Pachu, are you there? Uh-oh. What's going on?
Yes, sir.
What okay. Can you
So,
say what time? What time?
okay. What time?
Mhm. I need to find out what time.
What time? I
What
need I need to find out what time.
mhm. Can you make time a little bit longer? Time.
Because- What time?
That's better. I need to find out what time.
To find out what time.
hmm Can you put the word the after time? I need to find out what time the.
I need to find out what the time the
What time the? What time the?
what time the
I
what
need to
time the
find out what time the.
I need to find out what time the
Can you say that, Mohammed, with the word the at the end? I need to find out what time the.
I need to find out what time the
Okay. Then we have the word train. Do you think that's a big sound, a big vowel sound, or a little vowel sound? Train.
long vowel sound.
Yeah. Can you say that word? How do you say it?
Train.
Train. I need to find out what time the train.
I need to find out what time the train.
Train. A. Train.
Train.
I need to find out what time the train.
I need to find out what time the train.
Uh-huh. And what is the final word in that sentence, Pachu?
The lips.
Okay.
Lips.
All right. So I'm just going to put two words up on the screen. Pachu, can you see the two words that I have written up on the screen?
No.
Not yet. Do you see them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Can you say how would you say number one?
Lips.
Okay. How would you say number two?
The lips.
Okay. Number one. Mohammed, can you say number one?
Lives.
And how would you say number two?
Leaves.
Okay. No, Pachu, when you say number one, pretend like you're going to eat the I. Don't try to push it out of your mouth. Try to push it down your throat. Lives. Can you try that? Hello, Pachu, are you there? Pachu has disappeared.
Hello.
Can you
Lips.
try again? Number one.
The lips.
Okay, but you're pushing it out of your mouth. Don't do that. Try to push it down. Try to eat it instead of spitting it out.
Lips.
Live.
Lips.
Lives. You gotta push it down. You've got to feel it go down, not out. Lives.
Lips.
That was good. That was very good. Try it again.
Lips.
Lives. Right. Push it down. Don't let it go out. Push it down. Lives.
Lips.
How do you say number two?
So lips. Same. Lips.
No, this is when you push out. Okay, number two you have to push out. Leaves. You have to feel it leaving your mouth,
Okay.
going out of your mouth.
Okay. So lips. Lips.
Leaves. And you smile and your mouth is open and your tongue feels very tense. Leaves. It's a very tense sound, number two.
Lips.
That's good. How do you say number one?
Lips.
Lives.
Lips.
Lives. How do you say number two?
The lips.
Okay, now you listen, just think about the duration of the sound. Here's number one, lives. Here's number two, leaves. Are they the same duration or are they different?
Different.
Which one is long and which one is short?
The two is long
And
and one is short.
number one is short. Mohammed, can you say number one again?
Lives.
Lives. And can you say number two?
Leaves.
Leaves. Leaves. It's very long. Leaves. Okay. I need to find out what time the train leaves. Can you say that sentence, Mohammed?
I need to find out what time the train leaves.
Can you say I need to? I need to? I need to say
I
that.
need, I need to.
I need to find out.
I need to find out
I need to find out what time the.
what time the.
Say everything. I need to find out what time the.
I need to find out what time the.
I need to
I
find out
need
what.
to find out.
Mhm. I need to find out what. Go ahead.
I need to find out
Hmm.
what time the.
I need to find out what time the train leaves.
I need to find out what time the train leaves.
Okay, that's very good. Panchu, can you do that? Say the whole thing.
Okay, so I need to find out what time the train.
Uh-oh. Pachu's disappeared again.
Hello, sir.
Okay, try again.
I need to find out what time the train leaves.
Okay, is it tren or train? Which one?
It's a train.
Train. There's an E at the end of that. Train.
Okay, so train.
Train.
A.
Train.
Yeah. A. Yes.
A. A. Say it
Yeah,
again.
because
Hmm. Go ahead.
in the spelling it's also like a.
Yeah, it is there.
No train.
Surprisingly, it
Yeah.
is there. Yeah. Train. Train. I need to find out what time the train leaves. Say everything.
I need to find out what time the train leaves. Train leaves.
Train. Train.
This train.
Hmm.
This train leaves.
How would you make a question? How will you ask me train leave 5 o'clock? How would you make a question with that?
Uh, okay. So when does the train leaves?
Oh, okay. Try that again. You had a problem. You made a mistake.
When does the train leave?
Okay, or what time? Do what time? What time?
Okay. So at what time does the train leave?
Okay. Tren or train? Which one?
Is it train? Train.
Try again.
At what time the train leaves? Leave.
Okay, you have to use the question form. You have to use do. What time?
At what time does the train leave?
Tren or train?
Train leave.
Train.
The train leave.
What time does the train leave?
At what time the train leave?
Question form. You have to use the question form.
Okay, sorry. So at what time does the train leave?
That was better. Train. You have to put that E in there. Train. Mohammed, how will you answer 5 o'clock? How will you give a full sentence?
The train leaves at 5 o'clock.
Okay, the train leaves at 5 o'clock. Okay. All right, so that's find out. What does that mean, find out? What is the definition of find out?
Discover.
Yeah, it's like discover or find the answer to a question. Discover the answer to a question. All right, let's pick a different phrasal verb. How about okay. Have you ever seen the phrasal verb call off? I think we talked about that before for some reason. Have you seen that before? Call off? Pachu, Mohammed, have either of you seen that one before?
Yes.
A call off for the applications.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Call off for applying to the job, or call off for like announcement. It's like announcement.
Give me a sentence. How would you use that in a sentence? Call off in the way that you're thinking. Give
It's
me.
time for the call off to the application to the university.
I've never. Do you work with computers? Is that your job to work with computers?
No,
Okay, because I was thinking, I don't know. I've never heard it used in that way, so I'm not sure about that. But the call off most of the time would mean to cancel. Cancel. Pachu, have you seen that before? Call off meaning cancel.
Yes, I use it
You use all these
sometimes.
phrasal verbs. Give me an example of
Yes.
when you've used call off.
So this is also an expression like call of the day, or this is means also the postpone.
Put no,
Yeah,
no, no,
means
no, no, no. It doesn't mean
cancel.
postpone. Put off means postpone. Let's put that here. Okay, I'm going to put another phrasal verb here.
Okay.
Put off. That means postpone. But call off means cancel. That just means cancel. Okay, is that pretty clear?
Is yes, and is the same as call of the day or different?
Call off the day. Do you mean like cancel the day?
Yeah, means this is the yeah last time last suppose my call of day is 5 o'clock or
Oh, like the time
three
you mean
o'clock.
like the time you leave work?
Yeah,
No, I've never heard anything like that. Uh,
but
oh, go ahead.
I heard from a native speaker. No, she's from
Oh,
Australia,
oh, 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 oh.
and
You know,
she
I think I
uses
know what you mean now. Okay. I think what you're thinking of is an expression. Call it a day.
yeah, yeah expression.
Okay.
Yes,
That means let's
so,
finish. Let's finish for now. That's what it means. So when you say usually you would
it's
say
just finish.
let's. It's really just a whole expression with let's. Let's call it a day. And that means let's stop for today. Let's finish for today. That's enough for today. Okay. So
we
that's an
also had a phrasal verb in the story today.
mhm. Call off. Did
Yes,
did
It's
we have
uh, it's a buckle off, buckle off,
buckle off?
buckle, buckle off. Yes, is to be ready for a dangerous situation.
Can you spell it? How did can you type that into the Discord? Because I'm not sure. I don't remember anything like
I
that.
will.
Can you type it? Buckle off? I've never seen that. And you said that was in the story today? I don't remember that. Let's see. I've never heard that before. Buckle off. I'm asking ChatGPT because I've never seen that before. Not commonly recognized as standard English. No, maybe you've confused it with something else because
Buckle up.
oh,
Sorry.
oh, buckle up. Did they say that? But
Yes.
well, okay. The reason that buckle up, okay, you're right. You could use buckle up in that way. But the reason that you would say that, so buckle up means like connect your seatbelt. Okay. So you would say that like imagine you're driving a car and you want to go really, really fast with your car. So you tell your friends, oh, you better buckle up because we're going fast now. So it's like prepare yourself, get in a safe position because we're going to do something crazy now. Right? Does that make sense? That's
Yes.
connect
so
your seatbelt.
Yes. I see it also in buckle up for the meeting today.
Oh, really? So that
Yes.
would be like a scary meeting, right? Or something bad is going to happen in the meeting.
No,
Why do you say no, Pachu? That's how I would understand it. If you said buckle up for the meeting, that sounds like it's going to be a very scary meeting. Something bad is going to happen.
but sir, yeah, I think buckle up is also the kickoff, like a start. Does it mean same?
Well, the reason buckle up is a warning, it's because it means like put on your seatbelt. Something crazy is about to happen. So get in a safe position because you've got to connect your seatbelt and be safe because we're about to do something really crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like prepare
So
yourself for something crazy. Does that make sense?
yeah, means sometimes, yeah, means sometimes teacher also says buckle up, means start for class or something. This means it is the same meaning or not?
Well, I mean, if you said buckle up before you started a class, I would be afraid of that class.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen? Why do I have to protect myself from the class? So, I don't know.
No, but
It'd be a pretty scary class.
yes, as I also heard from a Canadian teacher,
Hmm.
and he also use it. Yeah, buckle up.
Buckle up. But that would just be like a warning to prepare yourself because something bad is about to happen, or something scary is about to happen, or some adventure is about to happen.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, all right, so let's take a look at this phrasal verb. Mohammed, can you read the sentence that I have up on the screen? Can you see it?
They called off the meeting because the manager was sick.
Okay. All right, Pachu, can you read the sentence? What does it say?
Okay, so they call off the meeting because the manager was sick.
Okay.
Means manager was sick, so the meeting was cancelled.
Okay, that's right. How would you pronounce the word called and the word off together?
It's a called off,
Called off.
called off,
Called off. Can you pronounce that, Mohammed? How would
called
you say
off.
that? Called off.
Called off.
Doff, called off, because the word that starts with a vowel sound will always take the sound of the word in front of it. Called off. They called
Called
off.
off.
They called off. What do you think
They
about the
called off.
What do you think about the vowel sounds? They called off. Are they big vowel sounds or little vowel sounds? They called off.
Called the long vowel sound.
Call is very long. How about they? They called. They called. Is that big or small?
Small.
Okay. What about off? Off. Is that a big sound?
Small vowel sound. No,
Yeah,
it's small.
I think it is. I think you're right. They called off. They called off. Can you say that phrase again?
They called off.
Pachu, can you say it?
They call,
Go ahead.
They uh, they call
Uh-oh. Pachu is disappearing again. Go try again.
they called off.
They called
They
off.
called off.
Say it
They
again.
called off.
They called off. If I say that
They
really
call
slowly, if I say that vowel sound really slowly, how many sounds do you hear? Called.
is a
Called.
two.
I think three. Called. Oh. 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 Called. Can you try?
Called.
Co.
Called.
Say co.
Called.
Say co. Co.
Called.
Just say co. Co.
Call. Call.
Co. Say co. Co.
Call. Call.
Say co. Co.
Koa.
Called.
Koa.
Called. Called.
Koa, koa,
Called.
koa.
I'm just going to put, I think I'll put 2 words here. Here's number 1, and here's number 2. While we're waiting for that to appear, Mohammed, can you say called? How do you pronounce that word? Called.
Called.
Called. Pachu, can you see the 2 words on the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
How do you say number 1?
It's called.
How would you say number 2?
So is a called.
Number 1?
Is a cold.
Number 2?
Is a called. Called.
Mm-hmm. Called. Called. So this is ko u. There is a little here. This is really confusing. Wait, I'm going to make this super small.
Okay. Yeah, cold.
Cold. And this is
Cold.
like ko u walled, like that.
Okay. Ko u wall.
Called.
Ko wed.
Called. Called. There's like a
Called.
there's like a kiss.
Cold.
There's a kiss in the middle of that. Called. You see how I'm giving a kiss in the middle of that word? Called. Called.
Cold. Cold.
Called.
Cold.
Then you have to finish with
Cold.
ah. But you have to finish with ah. Called. You have to finish with an ah. Called. That's number 2.
Cold.
Called.
Cold.
Called.
Cold.
Called. Say number 1.
Is cold.
Cold. Cold. Say number 2.
Is cold. It's
Called.
cold.
Mohammed, can you say number 1?
Cold.
Say number 1.
Cold.
Cold. Cold.
Cold.
Cold. Cold. Cold.
Cold.
Cold. How would you say number 2?
Cold.
Number 2.
Cold.
Is that number 2?
Cold. Yes.
Okay.
Cold.
But number 2 ends with ah. Cold. Cold. You have to end with an ah in number 2. Old. Cold.
Cold.
Cold. Say number 1.
Cold.
Cold. Cold.
Cold.
Say number 2.
Cold.
Okay. Can you say they called off the? They called off the.
They called off the.
Okay. They called off the.
They called off the
What is the next word?
meeting.
Meeting. Meeting. Meeting.
Meeting.
Mm-hmm. The 2 vowel sounds in there, are they big sounds or little sounds? E-I. E-I. E-I.
Meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long sound.
Both of them?
The first one is long.
No, the first one is long and the second
Meeting.
one is really small. E-I. E-I.
Yeah.
They called off the meeting.
They called off the meeting.
Mm-hmm. Pachu, can you say that whole phrase?
Okay. So they called off meeting. They
Off
called off the meeting.
Off the. They called off the meeting. They called off the meeting. Again?
They called off the meeting. They
Off.
called off the meeting.
They called off the meeting.
They called off the meeting.
What is the
They
next
call off
word,
the
Pachu?
meeting. Because.
Because. Because.
Okay. Okay. So sorry. Because.
Not because.
Because.
It's not because. It's because. It's the other way around. Because.
Okay. So the cause part is get higher.
It's,
Because
well,
yeah.
and it's longer. It's longer. It's it uh it uh it because
You see, because
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 because. So it's not because, but because.
okay, because
Hmm.
because
They called off the
okay,
meeting
okay, I got it.
because. They called off the meeting
They ca-
because. Go ahead.
they called off the meeting
Can you say that,
because
Mohammed? Can you say that?
They call they called off the meeting because
Because. Can you say, how would you add the next word?
they called off the meeting because the manager
Because the. Because the. Because the.
because the
So you, because we
because
all,
the manager
yeah, well, we'll worry about manager in a minute, but it's just, it's good to have this pattern of big, small, big, small, big, small. And so we have the, which is small, and cause, which is big, and then you have the, which is small, because the. That's a very typical, desirable rhythm in English. Because the, because the. Can you just say those three sounds together?
because the
Because the. They called off the meeting because the. Can you say all of those words?
they called off the meeting because they called off the meeting because the
Because the. Because the. Because.
because the
Is that
because the
hard? Can you say z, z, z?
the the
Can you say, what if you tried this? What if you tried to say zda, zda, zda?
the
Can you try?
the
It's like putting a D, a Z. It's like Z, D, A. Can you pronounce Z, D, and A together? Zda,
the
zda, like a D.
the
Try a D. Z, D, A. How would you pronounce Z, D, A?
the
Zda,
the
da, zda,
the
zda. Because da.
because
Because the manager.
the
Because the manager.
because because the
Manager. What do you think about the vowel sounds in that word?
ma, manager
Are those
long vowel.
all of them?
The first one on
What about the other two? Are those short or long?
I think short
Okay. Because the manager. Because the manager.
manager
Try to say all three words together. Because the manager.
manager because the manager
Because the manager. Pancho, can
because the
go ahead.
because the manager
Because the manager. Try to give a little bit more time to manager. Because the manager.
manager
Manager, manager, man.
ma, manager
Because
manager
Panchu, can you say that? How would you say? Because the manager.
okay. So because the manager
hmm They called off.
because the manager
They called off the meeting because the manager.
they called off the meeting because of the manager.
Because the, not because of the, just because the.
Okay, because the
hmm they called off the meeting because the manager.
they call off the meeting because the manager.
Mohammed, can you say the whole phrase up to manager?
they they called off the meeting because the manager
They called off the meeting because the manager. What's the next word?
was
Okay. What do you think about that vowel sound? Is that a big vowel sound or a little vowel sound?
little.
Was. Yeah, it could be. Because the manager was. Yeah, especially in a phrase like that, I think it would be pretty small. Can you say because the manager was? Because the manager was?
Because a manager was because the manager was
They called off the meeting because the manager was?
they called off the meeting because the manager was
Pachu, can you say that, the whole phrase?
Okay, so they call up the meeting because the manager was
hmm And what is that final word at the end of the phrase?
the sick.
Sick. Sick. Is that a big sound or a little sound? Sick.
Is a small.
Yeah, it is. It is small. Because the manager was sick. Because the manager was sick. But I think you have to
Mm,
give that word a lot of.
because the manager was
Go ahead.
okay. So because the manager was sick.
Yeah, because I think you have to give that word a lot of attention. That's kind of an important word in our idea. So even if it's a small word, if it's small sound, sick, you still have to give it
Yes.
extra attention because it's an important word.
Yeah. Yeah. It gives the meaning of whole sentence.
Yeah, so it make it a little bit longer, even though it's a short sound. Sick, sick,
Sick. The sick. Sick.
sick, sick. Okay, but
Sick.
but this is not
Sick.
a this is you have to push that sound down into your throat. That's not a spitting out sound. That's a pushing down sound. Sick. You should feel that in the back of
Okay.
your throat.
So okay. So sick. Sick.
Sick. It sounds like you're
Sick.
pushing it forward too much. Push it back. Sick.
The sick.
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 Sick. You
Sick.
have to feel it in your throat, not coming out of your mouth.
Sick. Sick.
Sick. Sick. Sick. You have to push back, not forward.
Sick.
Sick. Hmm.
Okay. Sick.
They
Sick.
call, they called off the
Sick.
meeting because the manager was sick. Can you say everything?
They call up the meeting because the manager was sick. Sick.
Okay. Mohammed, can you read that whole sentence? What does it say?
they called off the meeting because the manager was sick.
Okay. They called off the meeting because the manager was sick. Uh, Pachu, could you make a why question? Why call off meeting? How would you make a why question with that sentence?
So why why the meeting was called off?
You have to use the question form.
Okay, so why they call so why they so why they did call the meeting off?
All right. Well, let's start with a sentence. We have a sentence. They called off the meeting, right? How would you make a yes no question with they called off the meeting?
So did they
hmm
call off the meeting?
Now you have your question form. Make a why question. Why?
Okay, so
Mhm.
why did they call off the meeting?
Why did they? Why did so? Now we've got why. That's an important word. Did that's not very important here. It's a but they we can make our big small big with that. Why did they? Why did they?
Okay.
That's big, small, big. Why did they?
So why did they? Why did they?
Okay,
Why did they?
is it they or they?
Okay, so why did they?
Why did
Why did they?
why did they? Why did they?
Why did they? Why
Why
did they?
why did they call off the meeting?
why did they call off the meeting?
Mm-hmm. Mohammed, can you repeat that question? How do you make that question? Why did they?
Why did they?
Uh-huh. Say the whole question.
Uh, why did they call off the meeting?
Okay. Call off. Call off. Call off. Call off.
Why why did they call off the meeting?
Why did they call off the meeting? What is the answer?
Uh, because the manager was sick.
Okay, can you say the entire phrase? Because
They called off the meeting because the manager was sick.
they called off the meeting because the manager was sick. Pachu, can you give the answer?
Okay, so they called off the meeting because the manager was sick.
Okay. Manager, manager, manager.
It's a manager. It's a manager.
Man
Manager.
the manager was.
Because the manager was
Hmm.
sick.
Because the manager was sick. They called off the
Sick.
meeting because the manager was sick.
They called off the meeting because the manager was sick.
Okay.
Sick.
Let's do one more. We'll do one more. Oh, actually, let's do put
Okay.
off since we mentioned it. Okay, so we have call off, which means cancel, and then we have put off, which means postpone. Do you know what that means, Mohammed? Have you seen put off before or postpone? Do you know those words?
Yes, postpone to make the meeting for a later time.
That's right, for a later time. For a later time. Okay, let's see. And how about I'm just going to put a sentence up here that we can practice using put off, which means delay. Okay.
Okay.
And can you can you see the sentence on the screen? Is it appearing to you now? No?
Yes.
Can you read it, Pachu? What does it say?
So the construction project was put off due to bad weather.
What does that mean? Can you explain the meaning of that sentence to me?
Okay, so the construction work was project was going on, but uh, it suddenly postponed due to the bad weather.
Okay, right. Does that sentence make sense to you, Mohammed? Do you understand the sentence clearly?
Yes,
Okay. Can you read it? Read the whole sentence for me.
the construction project was put off
Okay.
due to bad weather.
All right. And do all of the words make sense to you?
Yes,
Okay. Now let's think about the word construction. Construction. What do you think about the vowel sounds in that word construction? Construction. Are they big sounds?
both are both are little sounds.
There are three. Both means two, but actually there are
Yeah.
three syllables.
Construction. Three. Yes, I mean three.
All three are small. Construction. That's true. Which syllable gets all of the attention in that word?
Shan. Last syllable.
Uh, no, I disagree with you. I think it's the middle syllable. Struck. 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 Construction. Construction. Can you say it like that? Construction.
Construction.
Construction. Say it again.
Construction.
Construction. What about
Construction.
Pachu? What is the next word after construction?
The construction project. Sorry, project.
All right.
No.
Some people might say project, okay, but not me. So I would say project. That's how I.
Yes.
So, but some people might say.
Is
What do you think about the vowel sounds? Project.
yeah. It's a long. It's a project.
Project. So it's long and then
Project.
short. Can you say the first three words?
The construction project.
Mm-hmm. Which syllable has all of the attention or emphasis in the word construction?
Construction.
Mm-hmm.
Construction.
Construction. Construction. Which syllable?
Construction.
Which syllable has all of the
Construction.
struck?
Chalk.
Can you say shun?
Sun.
Okay, but
Sun.
this is that whistling sound. You have to make the whistling sound. Shun.
Sun.
Shun. Make the whistling sound. Shun.
Sun.
Construction.
Construction.
Don't forget to whistle. Construction.
The construction.
That's good.
Construction.
That's good. The construction project.
The construction project.
Mm-hmm. Can you say those three words, Mohammed? The construction project.
The construction project.
Project. Can you say that word again?
Project.
So that's project.
Project.
Mm-hmm. The construction project.
The construction project.
Okay. What are the next three words in that sentence?
Spot off.
Can you say that again, please?
Spot off.
Okay. Say the first word. What is the phrasal verb that we're using here?
Spot off.
Okay. Now that sound put. Can you just say that word? Put. Okay. That is a vowel that you must eat. Okay, you have to push that down your throat. Don't try to push it out of your mouth. Try to push it down your throat. You have to feel it going down into your throat. Put. It goes down. Can you try that again?
Put. Spot off.
Put.
Put.
Yeah, that's better. Put off.
Put off.
Doff.
Put off.
Put off.
Put off.
What is that? That vowel sound? Off. Is that a big vowel sound or a little vowel sound? Off.
Big.
Okay. What about Is that a big sound?
No.
So it's put off.
Put off.
Put off.
Put off.
Mm-hmm. Can you say the whole phrase? The construction project was put off.
The construction project was put off.
Okay. Don't forget to make the aw really big so we can hear. Because if you don't, that's a very small word. It's just one syllable. It's just two sounds. Off. So it's really important to make the vowel sound really long so we can hear the word. Put off.
Put off.
Off.
Put off.
Okay, the construction project was put off.
The construction project was put off.
Okay, that's good. 9-volt fan says hello. Hi, 9-volt fan. Thanks for joining us. Pachu, can you say that whole phrase?
So the construction project was put off.
Okay, is it construction or is it construction? Which is
Construction.
okay. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you say
construction.
construction, it's almost like there's no it's like you're not giving any emphasis to any of the syllables, but there's at least one where
Yes.
you have to
Yeah.
pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Construction.
Generally. Yeah.
Can you
Hello.
try again, but this time take your time and try to pay attention to that vowel sound.
Okay, sir. The construction project was put off.
Okay. And then also remember you've got to give some sound to that off because it's a very little word and it could get lost if you don't pay attention to it. The construction project was put off. Make that a very big vowel sound. Off. Try again.
Okay. So the construction project was put off.
Put off. Construction or construction? Which one is better?
Construction.
Hmm. Yeah, you have to take your time with that middle syllable. Construction. Don't rush through it. Don't
So
go ahead.
uh, okay. So construction
Okay,
project was
hmm. Okay, what are the next two words
so
after put off?
as a due to
Due to. Due to. What do you think about the vowel sounds?
is a short
Both of them?
due is longer than
That's
to.
that's right. It is, but they're both long sounds. But do is when you have two long sounds together, you usually will make the first one longer. Just I don't know why, but you just do. Due to. They're both long,
Yeah,
but because they're fighting each other, the first one will win. Due to. Can you say it like that?
is a due to is a due to.
Okay. Do you think that to is an important word? Do I think is important, but what do you think about to? Do you think that's a really important word?
uh, to is not important.
Yeah, a lot of times it isn't. So you can say duta, duta.
Yeah, the due to.
Can you
Yeah,
say the construction project was put off due to?
the construction project was put off due to.
Okay. Mohammed, can you say all of that?
The construction project was put off due to. Due to.
Okay. But really, and this is you can pronounce it like that if you want. It's okay. But for listening, it's a good idea to get used to the fact that the word to a lot of times is pronounced ta or da, and it's very small. Duta, duta, dut, duda. I might say it like that. Duda. I probably would pronounce it like that. Duda. Can you say it like that?
Duta.
Duta. Duta.
The Duta.
Duta. That two usually becomes ta
Duta.
or da. Duda. Duda.
Dud-
Uh-huh. Now,
Duda.
can you say put off duda? But when you do it, pay attention. Take some time to make awe very big. Put off.
Put off.
Mm-hmm.
Duta.
Put off due to.
Put off. Duta.
Panchu, can you say that? Put off due to.
Put off due to.
Mm-hmm. The construction project was put off due to.
The construction project was put off due to.
Can you say that again, Mohammed? The construction project was put off due to.
The construction project was put off due to
Okay. What are the next two words, Mohammed?
bad weather.
Okay. What do you think about that vowel sound? Bad. Is that a big sound or a little sound? Bad.
Big sound.
Okay. How about weather? Weather.
Short
It
short sound.
it is a short sound, but the W is also a vowel sound, so that the first part of that word is all vowel sounds. Ue, ue, weather, bad weather. Can you say both of those words together?
Bad weather.
Bad weather, bad weather. Due to bad weather.
Due to bad weather.
Put off due to bad.
Due to bad weather.
Put off due to bad weather.
Put off due to bad weather.
The construction project was put off due to bad weather.
The construction project was put off due to bad weather.
Panchu, can you say the whole sentence?
Okay. So the construction project was put off due to bad weather.
Can you say that again? But when you have long vowel sounds, make them a little bit longer.
Okay. So the construction project was put off due to bad weather.
The construction project was put off due to bad weather.
Okay. So the construction project was put off due to bad weather.
Okay, is it put off?
Bad
Is it
weather.
put off or put off? Which one is better?
Is it put off? Put off.
That and off is pretty big. Off, put off, put off.
Okay. So put off. Yeah. Put off.
Yeah, because if you say
Off.
put off, that it could be hard to understand that if you say it like that.
Yeah. I said a put off, but no, it is put off. Yeah. Longer.
It's big.
Oh sound.
That
Yeah.
off is a very
Okay. I
big.
got it. Yeah.
Say the sentence again.
So the construction project was put off due to bad weather.
Mohammed, can you say the whole sentence again?
The construction project was put off due to bad weather.
Okay, that was really good. Pachu, how would you ask a why question? Why construction project put off? How would you make that question?
So why was the construction project put off?
Project, project, project. Can you say that word?
Project.
Where's the accent? Is
Project.
that on the first syllable or the second syllable?
Yeah, it is noun, so it is on the first syllable. The project.
Project. Say it again. Why was the why was the
So why was the construction project as a put off? Put off.
I wish you would make the vowel in project bigger. Project. Make it bigger.
Okay, so why was the construction project was put off?
Why was the construction project put off? again.
Why the construction?
Why
Why the
why
construction
was
project?
the why was why was the
Why was the construction project put put off
put off, put off, put off.
put off
Hmm.
put off?
Mohammed, how will you make a why question?
Why was the construction project was put off?
Okay, you made a mistake. Can you try that again?
Why was the construction project put off?
There you go. Try again.
Why
Go ahead.
why was a construction project was put the construction project put off?
Try again one more time.
Why was the construction project put off?
Okay, put off. Put. Don't forget that and put, that's down in your throat. You're eating that. You're not pushing it out. It's not pet, but put. You've got to push it down.
Put off.
Put off. You've got to feel it in your throat going down. Put off. Put off.
Put off.
Why was
Put off.
What is the answer? If I say, Muhammad, why was the construction project put off? What is your answer?
The construction project was put off due to bad weather.
Mm-hmm. Pachi, why was the construction project put off?
the the construction project was put off due to bad weather.
Okay, that's good. All right, I think that we'll probably stop here for today. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
I
Okay.
think I just want to check my schedule, but probably in about eight, what, well, not 8 hours, what, 12, in about 9 hours, we'll probably do another one. But let me just check my schedule. I have to make sure it's okay. Yeah. So tomorrow,
Mm,
in about 8 or 9 hours from now, we'll do another one. Okay. With Gone
sir.
with the Wind.
Uh,
Sir, sir,
uh,
Uh-huh.
sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched some clips from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, movies clips, but they used very connected words, so I did not understand many of them. And in also in my mm, exam, no, I asked about the repeat the sentence, and so uh, I just want to work some on rhythm and also
Mm-hmm.
the pause.
Connecting the word.
Yeah, connecting because yeah, and it also says pronunciation is 5 marks and rhythm or oral fluency is 5 marks.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so um, yeah, so I want to improve my repeat sentence
Mm-hmm.
along with pronunciation and rhythm.
Yeah. Well, those are
Yeah.
all the things that we're practicing. So we're doing all the.
And I also watched your many of videos like pronunciation, rhythm, and listening improvement. So it also helped me a lot.
We can
Yeah.
continue. When are you taking your test?
So December, I have not booked yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I am not 100% prepared for the exam.
Mm-hmm.
And if I booked, then I will surely fail. So I do not want to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
well, we have a little bit of time then. We need a little bit of time.
Okay.
Well,
Yes,
Mohammed, were
sir.
you going to
Yes.
say something? I thought I heard you about to speak. Did
sorry, we will be live after 8 hours from now.
Yeah, well, let's see. Let me do the math here. So it's almost 8 p.m. here. So 12 hours would be 8,
8 p.m.
10.
Yes.
So
So
about,
8
I'm sorry.
p.m. Eastern time, right?
Well, I'm Central Time right now, so it's 7:45 p.m. So that would be like maybe 9 hours from now. Because I probably would do it at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and right now it's 8, so in about 10 hours. Yeah, about 9 or 10 hours, something like that. It depends on when I wake up, how early I wake
Okay.
up. So approximately. Okay.
Thank you for the great lesson for today.
Okay. So tomorrow morning we'll read a chapter of Gone with the Wind, and we can continue with practicing. Okay. All right, everyone.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you,
Thank you
sir.
thank you.
for
Thank you, sir.
practicing with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.